Welcome to Straight Shot Politics. Each episode will bring you in-depth discussion with experts, community leaders, and analysts who will share their insights, experiences, and predictions. From local elections to global diplomacy, we'll provide you with the tools and perspectives you'll need to navigate today's real-world landscape. The views expressed by our guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect those of the hosts, producers, or this podcast. This podcast is an independent production and is not affiliated with, endorsed by, or sponsored by any organization unless explicitly stated.
Welcome back to Straight Shot Politics. I'm Lisa Chafee.
I'm Josh Cease.
And I'm Michael Nash.
And we are continuing our delightful conversation, enlightening conversation with Pastor.
Insightful conversation.
It's insightful.
It
and I'm
is.
actually enjoying it and having fun. It's nice to be able to actually have a conversation with somebody that looks different than me, and I don't have to worry about you pulling out a gun and shooting me.
I'm not going to shoot you.
I know you're not. Pastor David Forbes from Columbus Christian Center and his son David are still here with us. So in the previous episode, we talked about black fatigue, the ghetto culture, some of the historical things that have led up to it. We talked about the welfare state created by President Lyndon B. Johnson. There's some other things going on in the ghetto culture. It seems to be this acceptance of racing to the bottom. That's the only way I can describe it. It's like, how dumb can we be? How violent can we be? How cruel can we be? What do you think about that?
The consciousness has been seared. So there's a level of, not shame, but a level of accountability. Mm-hmm. There's certain things I would not do because my father would show up and whip my tail at school, at a store, in public. Mm-hmm. And so there is that level of accountability. Even today, my father right now is 85, just turned 86 years old. There's still things I would not do. Number one, I don't want to offend my creator, Father God and Lord Jesus. But next in line is my father. He would come and whip my tail. Mm-hmm. So that accountability is so important. And once a conscience becomes seared, you just do not care what you do to people. You do not care the effect it has on other people. You do not care that it affects your life. And that is what we're seeing with these senseless murders in our own city of Columbus, but also in Chicago and in Detroit and Memphis and St. Louis. It's horrible, but there's not a consciousness that is there. You've actually got more deaths of black people in 1 year than all the 40 years of the Klan. I think the Klan murdered, and it was horrible that they did that. 33 or 3,400, don't quote me on that, people were lynched or killed. That's horrible. But that many black people die in 1 year at the hands of other black people. So there's a loss of consciousness and a loss of awareness that's taking place.
Humanity.
Yeah, loss of humanity. That's a good word.
That's also what leads to, I think, fatigue or frustration on another level is, and when it happens and it is wrong and racist and it is horrible, hold them accountable, bury them under the jail when a crime. But I only ever hear this outrage about Black Lives Mattering or our culture matters, or they don't care, the system don't care about black folks. Okay, if the perpetrator is white, you know, or something like that. But nobody talks about, 14 young black men under the age of 20 were gunned down in Chicago last weekend by fellow young black men. Right. There's no protest there. There's no outrage for that. And we look around and it's going, save those babies up there. Get them out of that culture. Teach them.
But Josh, that, again, mixed into all of this is that Marxist, communist, and that was a thread of Marxism and communism in the civil rights movement. It really was. Mm-hmm. And that division is necessary for communism to take hold, that you have to have people victimized. You have to have people that see themselves as part of a victim class, because that's who's going to fight back. and get the man, so to speak. So in China, they all look the same. So it was a caste system
Right.
that kept them separate. In Russia, the Bolsheviks, they all looked the same. So it was class. But in our country, prosperity and capitalism was so diverse, it wouldn't work. So here's the scab that we can pick that will just aggravate people. And it's worse now than it was even 60 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, there are people that were never mistreated that are more angry than the people who actually were mistreated in the 40s, 50s, and 60s.
So here's some numbers for you. According to the CDC, in 2024 in the United States, 10,533 black homicide victims.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tragic.
And in Columbus, black males in Ohio have a homicide rate 16 times higher than white males.
Well, I want to, but thank you for bringing that up because you just triggered something in my brain that I want to ask. So when you look at the things that are going on within the black culture, someone who's listening to this, who found the podcast or somebody shared it with them, and they're yelling at their speaker, why won't he talk about the impact of systemic racism? So I want to, because you can't deny that is part of American history, okay? I mean, this isn't, just, oh, man.
Redlining.
Yeah, that was real. So I want you to address to anybody who's criticizing you, like, man, he's whitewashing this whole systemic racism thing.
No pun intended.
What would you say about that and what impact that really has?
Yeah, I think that is a very good argument, and that's something that does have to be addressed. When you look at the black experience, it is very diverse. It is tragedy and trauma. It is triumph and success. It is all that mixed together. And I don't have a problem saying, hey, this nation had a racial past that is very ugly. Racism and slavery is very ugly. But then we also have to admit, look, those first slaves were not, they weren't on the coast of Africa and the evil white Europeans just came and just conquered them. That's not what happened. There were other Africans that had them in slavery already.
Yeah.
So it's not just white. And that's the thing that I think has to be said. There are good people and there are evil people, and that's just it. And the tragedy that black people have endured is not only at the hands of white people; it's at the hands of people in general. Slavery is horrible. Jim Crow was horrible. Those people that destroyed Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma, that's horrible. I mean, we can go down the list. That's all horrible. But there's some successes that took place. I just want to make sure that we talk about that this country has fostered great success for black people as well. But we don't want to talk about that. We skip over the 20s, 30s, and 40s and 50s because it does not fit the narrative that America is racist. It must be disassembled. It must be delaminated. It must be destroyed. Western culture must be destroyed.
Yes.
And white people must be destroyed because
Christianity
must be destroyed because it all fostered this slavery. Slavery existed in the world since the Bible
Beginning.
days.
And
And it
before
still
then.
exists today.
Yeah.
And the only two nations that constitutionally outlawed slavery are Great Britain, England, and the United States of America. So let's talk about that too, though.
Yeah.
But that's never mentioned. It is only the evil and the racist part of our country, and that's not a true picture. Let me say this. My father, who was a wonderful component in the civil rights movement, said this to me, and I asked him, this is years ago, I said, Dad, you were arrested. He was the first person arrested in the sit-ins in Raleigh, North Carolina.
No kidding, really?
Okay,
Yeah.
we need to get him in here and talk to him.
Yeah, definitely.
He led some college students from Shaw University. They went and sat at a Woolworth counter. They don't even have a Woolworth anymore.
Oh,
but
yeah.
you remember.
I think I've seen pictures of this. This
No,
is like
I've read
well
about this.
documented, right?
Yeah, he
This
has-
was in
yeah,
my
this-
high school history book,
Yeah,
actually.
he sits at a counter and he has other classmates, college classmates, and they sat there for hours. and no one helped him. So finally, the server says, "Well, excuse me, what would you like?" He said, "Well, we'd like to order some coffee and donuts." And the server said, "Well, we don't serve black people. We don't serve Negroes." And he said, "Well, I know you don't serve Negroes. You serve coffee and donuts." That really is what we ordered. Great comeback.
That is a great comeback.
And so the manager came out, and eventually they got arrested. So anyway, my father, I asked him some years later, "Dad, you never." I know what happened to you. I understand you work with Dr. King. I know you were a civil rights icon, and you worked very diligently. And some of the freedoms I have today is because of the sacrifices you made. Why did you not drill your experience into me more than you did? I know what happened, but you didn't drill it." And he said something very powerful to me. And other than introducing me to Jesus Christ, this is the best thing my father ever did to me and did for me. He said to me, "Son, America is a great country. This is a great place. It had some issues. I stood up against those issues. But I wanted you to see this country through your eyes and not mine. I wanted you to see it through your experience and not mine." So that's why I don't have that bitterness, because it was not bred in me. And that's what we're seeing today. We're seeing young people, 18, 19 years old, bitter as if they went through slavery themselves.
Demanding reparations.
Demanding reparations. If anybody pays reparations, it should be the Democrats, because they were the ones responsible for all of the disparity. But
so, Josh, you mentioned that was in your history book. When I was in school, I've said this before, and I'm going to turn this to education somehow, because really, I think education is the foundation of our society as a whole, and that is the best way for any one individual to become truly free, is the more that they educate themselves. And I can recall growing up and learning in history class about Dr. King, about the civil rights movement, and a little snippet. Never once heard about Madam Walker or Black Wall Street or George Washington Carver, who invented peanut butter and had over 200 patents of things. The plastic that we all utilize now is because of that man. How much of what's happening now in this ghetto culture do you attribute to the lack of education in our schools?
Nearly all of it. Let me add one more piece to your roster that you read. The first slave owner in this country was a black man by the name of Anthony Johnson.
Yeah.
He took another black man to court to keep him in slavery. So why those lessons are not told? Because it does not fit the narrative that white is evil and black is victimized. That is such a poor message to teach to children. White people are evil. Black people are victimized. Everyone is going to be dissatisfied with that arrangement. Everyone will be dissatisfied.
It's like Israeli and Palestinians like teaching their children to hate each other based off of past grievances that had nothing to do with the kids. Like, what does that got to do with you right now?
Right. Can I add one thing?
Please.
About the black fatigue? I think the fatigue comes from the feeling of fatigue comes from not being able to win. I believe most Caucasians that I know, they don't think about black. They're not thinking about how can we oppose and hold black people back. I just have never met someone that thinks that way. So white people are not thinking about black people. Black people are not thinking about black people because they're thinking about white people. So no one's thinking about black people.
Right.
And that's why we're not making the progress that we need to make.
That's an excellent analogy.
I really think that's true. So the fatigue comes from this.
Yeah.
If there's a neighborhood and white people move in and begin to develop that area, it's called gentrification. Right. That's evil because here come the white people. They have to take over everything. All right. When white people move out, it's called white flight, where they're evil because they don't want to be around anybody. They want to go somewhere else. So you can't win.
Right.
It's that feeling. Have you ever been in a relationship, a friendship with a narcissist? You can't win.
Yeah.
No matter what you do, you lose.
A couple of them, yeah.
Yeah, heads I win, tails you lose.
That's right. That's right, David. I want to ask you because this is you're the next generation. I'm in my mid 40s, and I remember being 25 like it was yesterday, but you're the new generation. And I know you said you've been called coon and all these horrific names, Uncle Tom, and all this nonsense because you're a good, educated person with a soul. But do you also look at this as an opportunity to lead, to show that this doesn't have to be our way? We don't have to act like this. I mean, I look at you, man, and I say you don't judge a book by its cover. But I'll just be honest, just simply based on how you dress and carry yourself tells me a lot about your character, okay? This is like, do you look at this as an opportunity? Like, you can be a leader here. You can show there's a better way, and there's a better way of thinking and a more prosperous path forward.
Yes, I do see that opportunity, and I'd like to think I try to take advantage of it as often as I can. One difference that I would make is that I was fortunate enough to grow up the way I did. For somebody that didn't, it's like if you have an iPhone and you want it to operate like an Android, you're going to have to go through programming, coding. There's a level of updates and things that you're going to have to figure out, and you're going to have to understand that that's what's wrong, and you're going to want to have to learn to make those changes so that device operates how you want it to. When you're brought up and people's past trauma and experiences are drilled into you, you're digesting all of this music, you're watching all these streamers and all these people who are feeding into you all of this nonsense. That's the programming that you're set to. So now to reach the next level, it's like you're stuck, you're brainwashed, and you have to intentionally take steps to recode your spirit, to recode your thought process, to reprogram the way your brain is wired and the way you think about certain things. And without that intentional effort or having Jesus on your side, it's hard to a lot of dark twisted people just go through life until they've reached the breaking point, and then they get flooded with like realization of like, oh my gosh, like this whole time. And I'll point to Candace Owens. It was pretty much her experience. Is she was raging liberal for most of her life. That's how she grew up, and she just got to a breaking point where she's just like, I'm being lied to, I'm being gaslit, and it's hard to get to that point. But yes, to answer your question, I try to show people, we don't have to be this box that they want us to be in. And just because, I have parents that care, I was able to go to this school, it doesn't matter. The lady in the video said it. Manners, honor, respect, your character will take you there. And you don't need parents to know how to do that. You don't need parents to have honor.
You had a good daddy growing up.
Yeah,
I
and
can
a mommy.
tell.
And a good
And a
mommy.
mama. And a
Definitely.
mama. Now, to be honest, who are you more scared of, mama or dada?
You don't have to answer that. I'll save you. You don't have to
Plead
answer
the
that.
fifth. You plead the fifth.
At this point, I don't think there's any fear left. Maybe growing up, but
David, that
Wonderful.
was such that just blessed my heart to hear you to speak those
great
those
answer.
words, and the whole Android Apple scenario, that is very, very true, and it goes back to what my father did. He just made sure I did not get that inferior programming.
Yeah.
When a person, and David, my son, hit on this, when a person knows who they are, and that is the value of the Christian faith. And I can speak to that because I'm a believer, I'm a Christian. Once I accepted Christ, I began to learn who I am. I'm the righteousness of God in Christ. And then my identity, my purpose, my assignment, the gifts he's given me, they come to life then. And now once I know who I am, if I met you, Josh, and you hated me because I'm black, or you hated me because I'm a Cowboy fan, you hated me because
Well, hold on. Let's not go too far.
He's a Browns fan.
for whatever reason you didn't
Right.
like me, I'm saying I know who I am. So to me, you're stupid. To
Well
me,
put.
because
Yeah.
I know who I am. You just don't know who I am. But if I don't know who I am, I'm stupid.
Well, and that's
And
what
that's the problem, is people don't have that point of origin. And brown people, dark toasted or black people, are trying they're trying to go back to Africa. They're trying to find some point of origin, but because of slavery, we don't know where we came from. I
Right.
don't know. So I can't even search that out. But what I can do, I mean, Forbes is a Scottish name. I mean, that's good news. But that was a slave owner. That's
Right.
not where I came from. Africa has over 200 cultures. I don't know where I don't know where I came from. So my point of origin has to be in Christ. And once I identify that, I know who I am. I can do all things through Christ. I can do whatever I'm supposed to do as long as what I want to do is what I'm supposed to do. And if I've got that, that is what David, I believe that's what you were saying. That will just carry me as far as I need to go.
So one other topic I wanted to touch base with you, and you mentioned it in the previous episode, DEI. Really, it should be DIE, die. I have had the opportunity for 3 years now to go speak at a local high school in their polyrag class. And the last semester that I did it, just a few months ago, I was explaining why DEI is bad in the schools and how, the problem with it is, yes, everybody starts off at the same level, but with DEI, you expect everybody to end up at the same level. And one of the students who happened to be a white female, oh man, was she raging. And she's like, no, they don't get you. They come from poorer communities, and they started talking about Columbus City schools and how they don't pay their property taxes, and that was a whole other discussion. But what's being ingrained with DEI is that victimhood. White people bad, black people are the victims, and we've seen it now. We've seen a tide. President Trump has banned it. We see a lot of medical schools now who had, and this is the main point I was trying to explain to them. Here you have medical schools lowering the acceptable standard for people of color, black, Asian, Hispanic, as opposed to white people. So white people are still supposed to score this level, but if you're black and you only score a 500, we're going to go ahead and take you. And it's actually causes more harm than good. Would you agree with that?
Oh, it causes way more harm. Number one, because the student who gets into med school, they're not vetted properly. They don't have the ability. It's not because of their color. It's just because of their preparation.
Yeah.
They're not capable of working at that level. So you let them in to that school. They're not able to perform. They fail. So now they are offended. And then other people are offended because they've got somebody else's spot. It creates more offense than anything else. Diversity is not the goal. Unity is. And that's the problem. Diversity without unity is a problem. All right? The Crayola box of crayons, 28, 36, or 64 colors. Individually, those colors are great. But any one color does not make that box. It's the unity of that box why it's valuable. And to say diversity is a key, I think is mistaken, because then you're going to start looking at individual people groups, and you're hiring people on their appearance, not on their ability. And I took a couple of flights recently, and I was in Charlotte Airport. I also was in Dallas Airport, but in Charlotte especially, and in Atlanta. All of the employees are brown, are black, all of them. And I thought companies are supposed to, their employee base is supposed to look like the nation. I thought it's supposed to it's supposed to look like what the country looks like. And the only way you can have all black employees is that you simply hired people because they were black.
Yeah.
And if you do that and don't train them and don't educate them into what they're doing, they're not going to do well.
I
see that.
I don't give a damn what color my heart surgeon or my pilot is. I just want the best man and or woman to be doing those things. My final point I want to bring up to you, and then Pastor, I get really, really upset, and I'm going to just tell you, it's mainly comes from white liberals and white women liberals, the liberal white woman.
Bane of my existence.
The biggest problem I have. And when I listen to things like voter ID, and I hear white women saying, oh, but they can't get IDs, or they don't have the documents, or maybe they don't have the wherewithal, or what if they don't have... Why? What is this white liberal obsession with infantilizing black folks as though you are not capable of living like smart, independent adults? To me, that's the most racist damn thing I've heard.
Absolutely.
Oh, y'all too stupid to get your ID. It's okay. We won't. What is that nonsense that they keep perpetuating? To me, it's treating black people like they're children. Oh no, honey, let me get the Kool-Aid for you. I don't want you to spill it. Like, what is that mindset? Because to me, I would be livid. Like, don't talk about me like that. I am a capable man.
Josh, I have voted for 9 presidents. I'm 5-4, by the way.
Okay.
5 victories, 4 losses.
All right.
I have never had a problem voting. Not once.
Do you know how to get an ID? You have an ID,
I have an ID. I have a social security card. I have a passport. I have a driver's license. I show up at the poll. I show the attendant my driver's license. She checks it against, or he checks it against the voter roll. Hey, this is the same gentleman at this address. I have never had a problem voting. So it's a lie. It is just a lie to cause greater division, because one of these parties, I'm not going to say which one of these parties requires and depends on illegal votes and illegal voting to win elections.
Amen.
Dead people, dead dogs, dead cats, other
6,600 in New Jersey illegals on the voter roll.
Yeah. So it's not looking out for black people.
Right.
It is trying to make sure we have illegals voting, we have dead people voting. That is, if you cleaned all that up, I think that other party would never win another election.
Will you please run for office? You are so
Serious. He should be mayor.
You should be mayor of Columbus. I'm not even kidding.
Well, I want to ask you this, and then we'll have to wrap it up. So, restorative justice, we have it in our schools, we have it in our legal system. And it's this whole idea, oh, he or she is black, they're poor, their mommy is a drug addict, daddy's in prison. So whatever their bad behavior was, oh, they stole a car, oh, well, that's okay. And then so in schools, they're learning this. It's just a little, don't do that anymore, Tommy. And then they go to the courts. We saw this with the Kia boys. They're arrested at 9 a.m., they're out by noon, they're arrested again at 6 p.m., and they're out and they're doing it again. What would you say if you could talk to just one teacher or one judge who's engaging in that kind of behavior? What would you tell them?
Oh, my goodness. Now, we're going to need a third segment. You waited to bring this up to the end.
We can,
I'll say this. The problem with secularism, liberalism, is the same problem with Marxism, communism, and socialism. All of those are the same. Notice what they do. They take a value from God's word. They take a value from the economy of God, and they modify it. So it's not justice. God doesn't talk about restorative justice. He talks about justice. Justice in itself is restorative. But when you put restorative on it, you're humanizing it and saying we're going to use it for our benefit. Racial reconciliation. There's no such thing in the Bible. The Bible talks about reconciliation. But when you add racial to it, it just causes this this humanistic angle, and whatever bias the person brings to it, that is going to be the problem. Liberation theology. theology in and of itself is about liberating the captive. But you
right.
add liberation to it, it's a human construct, and it's an enemy to God, and it's an enemy to the freedom that people can walk in.
I'm going to have to go to church with you and go see this
I'm
man
telling you.
preach.
It's
It's good
I'm telling
service. Yeah.
All right. I mean, I'll be there. I'm going to come with them one Sunday. I'm serious.
Yeah,
I'll
go with you.
Do your thing.
You're
man.
welcome.
I tell you what, I've been to many churches in my life. I live down south. I have never been to a church as welcoming as when I walked in the Columbus Christian Center. I felt nothing but love in that church, and it is wonderful. And to hear Pastor Forbes, and the man could talk.
Oh,
I would
yeah.
tell you, he could talk.
I got that part.
I was warned, Lisa. The singing's going to start about 10:15, 10:30. The preaching's going to start about 10:45. He might stop about 1 o'clock.
Not quite 1 o'clock, Lisa. Don't cheat me now.
I loved it. It really is. And your message is divine.
Yes.
And I think this is a great start that we can get people who have lived very different lives
Yes.
to just come together and focus on the things we have in common and have great conversation about the problems that we see in our society.
Amen.
So I think at some point we didn't get a chance to talk about what's the solution. And I think we'll have you back another time and let's talk about what as a community as a whole, because
Yes.
it's not just a black people's problem. It's not white people's problem. It's our society's problem.
Absolutely. No, there's no question about it. So thank you very, very much. I appreciate your time. It's been wonderful. And David, man, you're going places, bro. You are going places. And
so, Pastor Forbes, tell people
Yes.
where they can come see you preach in person. Where can they see you online?
Yes, Columbus Christian Center, affectionately called Faith Stadium, is on the corner of Cassidy and Agler. Near the airport. It's 2300 North Cassidy Avenue, and also our YouTube channel, Faith Stadium TV, also on Facebook and on
Instagram.
TikTok.
Hey,
And TikTok.
there we go.
Yeah, social media, unfortunately, is a necessary evil these days to get our good message out.
I'm hijacking it and using it.
Yes, yes. So, and you can also find us, Straight Shot Politics, on YouTube, on Facebook. Please like us, subscribe, because when you subscribe, that gets us out to more people. And most importantly, share. Tell a friend. Like Senator Moreno likes to say, vote 12 times. You go and vote, and you take 11 friends.
there you go.
So share with all your friends. This has been
Straight Shot Politics.